My God, I think we should be live to everybody out there. Let us know if you can see us. Hi, guys.
Holy, I'm
Uh,
so blue.
are you blue?
I'm very blue, aren't I?
You're a little blue, honestly. Yeah, you don't look like you have human pigment. I just noticed that. Is it because of the light behind you?
Maybe. Am I human now? Oh, I'm a little bit more
You're a little
human.
pinker. Yeah, it
All
looks like you're
right.
being like revived. Like you drowned briefly, but like you're back. Yay! Hi everybody out there. We're gonna do a newsletter for you guys. Usually there's a whole intro spiel and all that stuff, but today's a little special. It's October. We're in the last quarter of the year. Thank God. We're gonna go over a bunch of stuff today for the DNR podcast. Usually this is just on Patreon, but today we wanted to kind of broadcast this live and talk to you guys about a bunch of different stuff. I'm Jason,
I'm Brianna.
um, and man, thank you all for joining us on here on such short notice. We only let everybody know a couple hours ago because last night was kind of a mess, and we didn't know. We kind of figured we were just going to record this, but what we wanted to do was talk about this year a bit and why some things are the way they are and what happened, stuff we want to improve, some stuff I've been feeling recently. Not even recently, it's been a while, but I think it's something I verbalized for the first time around midnight last night while you and I were pacing.
Yeah.
So let's start with that, and then we're going to talk about stuff coming to Patreon. We're going to start talking about the Arc 4 and all kinds of different stuff we're doing. It has been a really busy month, and
hmm
yeah, I want to break it down to you. I wanted to start talking about this year and distractions, basically. Like stuff like this year has been a mess. And okay, let's set aside political stuff and California being on fire and people being shot in the streets. Let's put all that aside for just a minute. This year, um, I have missed doing stuff like GMT more than I realized. I don't know about you. Like
Yeah.
it just feels like there have been so many times it's like, boy, I wish I could talk about this, or I wish, but there's no outlet for that on the regular show. Like the behind the scenes stuff a little bit, but
Yeah.
like,
That's
you
more
know,
hanging out with friends than like,
yeah, it's not a forum so
yeah.
much.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, no, personally, this year's kind of been a mess for us, and I feel like it's distracted me specifically from work. Um, Elle's been in and out of the hospital all year long.
mhm.
She's had massive abdominal pains, and she went to the ER last night. And frequently, it's when it's so bad that she needs to go to the ER. They put her on different painkillers like morphine. Like it's that bad. And last night she had a pretty violent reaction to morphine, and for a time, they were convinced she had a heart attack. She was convinced she had a heart attack, and I can't go into the hospital, so I'm in the parking lot at that point, and that's the news. It's like, well, okay, what's going on? Like, it's like,
Mm.
and to be clear, she's not in the hospital for something life threatening. But we don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
It's been intense abdominal pain, and they have to go through a checklist. So it is it's like, okay, well, we're going to do this and this, and I don't want to get into a bunch of personal stuff. But yeah, no, it's been, I mean, obviously the most on Elle, but it's been taxing on all of us because me and Bree just feel helpless.
Yeah.
And to say that that has been a bit distracting, or participated to some lack of focus at work, is beyond an understatement, I think.
Yeah.
And I can't speak for Bree. I could just like I know what I've been feeling, but last night sucked.
Last night was really scary, and like the last year and a half with the stuff happening with Elle, it's just she'll be in pain. There's nothing we can do. No pain meds touch it. Like she was on morphine and had that reaction, she still was in pain.
Yeah.
On top of the reaction she had. Like, it's really, really bad. And yeah, you feel really helpless. Like, it's been super frustrating, and it kind of feels like she's getting brushed off a lot, which that gets into the personal stuff. But it's like,
Yeah.
God, I hope it gets worked out. And right now it doesn't look like it's going to be anytime soon.
And it's it like, again, it's nothing life threatening. It's just a quality of life issue.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what it is. So I think we ruled out the big stuff. Like, you know, well, we ruled out a lot of the big stuff.
Yeah.
And now, like, we're waiting to see. Like, and it could be months. We don't know yet. And that's been crazy. Crazy distracting. Obviously, we had the move last month, which was kind of sprung on us. We weren't expecting that. And, you know, I mean, that's anytime anybody has to move, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
All of this is to say that I feel like I have not been doing the job as well as I could be doing it. There's something I like to call the standard, right? That
Mm-hmm.
you have a standard you set for yourself. You want to do as well as possible, and for whatever reason, like, I feel like I'm not doing that. Some of it's a confidence issue. Like, we just wrapped up the arc, and I'm sitting here wondering, it's like, is that any good? Like, did I do it?
Right.
Did I do good? Like, that kind of, and I'm not as confident as I would have been a couple years ago, just because of, you know, either distractions or the way things are around here, whatever have you. Like, it's I feel like I need to refocus on my job, and
Yeah.
there's no sense of doing something if you don't want to be the best at it. Like,
Right.
categorically, the best is completely, it's up to the individual, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I want to be the best I can. I want
Right.
to,
At our show.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for me too, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
But
But
like,
like, something that's like this last year or so, we've had so many side projects, and I'm not saying the side projects are going away. You guys know we're working on a big side project right now that we are working on because we care about it and we want it to be a thing. But the book, for example, where it's like we're in the minutia of publishing and trying to get people to get our book, and we're not focusing on the show the way that we used to. Like, even me, like my characters on the show, I love Clara to death, but like I'm not thinking about her as much as I used to think about like Thantos or Jadzia, because I'm so trying to get all of the other side projects rolling and going well, and I'm just stressed out that like one of the balls is going to drop. I don't have time to sit down and really think about what my character's going through right now. And I don't know if it's the same for you with DMing, but it's like I don't have that time to just sit and think about the show the way that I used to.
no, and obviously, like, that's something that changed the minute we weren't working regular jobs. Like, you don't have that shower principle thing of like, hey, I'm wrapping a pallet, I'm stacking these
Right.
boxes, I'm doing something in the back, and
Yeah.
like,
And
I
our
have
like the other parts of our job, there aren't a lot of those kind of things. Like we had a packing day, like I guess technically, but we
well, we
turned that into
streamed them.
content because we
Yeah.
need to turn everything into content all the time because otherwise we'll die. So
That's kind of my fault. I feel like, there's things like, okay, I feel like every single day we're still trying to learn how to run a business. And I think anybody who's a content creator, like, what you do today is not the same as what you were doing 5 years ago. Whether it's the content you create, the way you put it out, the way it's consumed, your Patreon, your OnlyFans, whatever it is, um, it's not the same because you constantly have to evolve, and some of that is guessing what you think people might like.
right.
And last month for the Patreon was a banner month for the wrong reasons. And I keep an eye on this stuff. Like, the Patreon goes up and down. It's always going to. And this is a tough year for everybody. But we bled people from the Patreon last month because One, we're not putting out new content in the main feed. And I think a lot of people are interested in hearing behind the scenes stuff. Some people are just there for extra games. Some people are just there for the behind the scenes. Some people can't listen to the behind the scenes because if anything political is mentioned or just us talking, it instantly turns those people off. There's some people on our Discord who say that openly. It's like, I don't listen to that because for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
But last month was the first month we had no growth, none, and in fact lost. Like usually there's like, even if it's a buck, it's like, hey man, that's a win. We're in the black, awesome.
Right.
But to actively lose hundreds of dollars, and a lot of the feedback was, I don't like the show anymore, or I don't like the way you're doing this or that. And for every person we have on the Discord, it's like, hey man, take a break. You can't. You can never take a break, because the second you do, the people who aren't as understanding about that stuff and need that constant content, you're losing them. They're gone. And there's a good chance we'll never get those people back, and that sucks. But you can't focus on that, and I think a lot of me has been wrapped up in focusing on that and constantly chasing the negative. The negative review, the negative, like what's going on, and I want to fix it. I want to talk to these people and fix it, but you can't. It's all anonymous. Yeah. One of the things we're really excited about, though, is Arc 4 and starting new stuff and doing new things with the Patreon, with the feed, and kind of going back to a return to form. Like we're going back to 4 groups. We're going to talk more about this in just a little bit, but basically, here's the stuff we're doing. Those are the problems. Here's the stuff we're doing to fix it. One, myself and Elle are working with a personal trainer, which, holy shit. Anybody who knows Catherine Maria Horn, she's been a listener for a long time, back like 7-8 years, something like that, in the UK, and has a online personal trainer business. And I've talked to her every once in a while, but it's one of those things that I on a whim, it's like, you know what, man, help me. How much to help me? Because like, I know how to function if it's a physical job. This isn't. I sit in front of this desk for 12 hours a day. I don't know how to do. Help me. Here's money. So me and Elle joined up, and we're going to, it started this month. We're going to be working on it. I'm going to be sharing all that with you guys, like that whole journey, what it's like. If you guys want to hit her up, I'll share a link. Go for it. I'll give you a referral code or something like that. But yeah, man, go for it. Because I'm anxious to turn stuff around. I want to do something, but that's the physical, right? Mm-hmm. What we're going to try to do is me and Bree are going to try to take some little mental health breaks, like even if it's for an hour or two a day, something like that. Put together, paint minis, do art. Fuck it. Like you had one this last weekend. I think it was like Saturday. Or what? No, was it? I don't know. You had, it's like, hey, I'm unplugging from everything. Maybe it was like Friday, something like that.
Oh yeah, I think it was Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, because we had a meeting. I was like, okay, when we do the meeting, that's when I'll clock back in. But I need to take a few hours. I need to step away from. There was a Twitter thing. It wasn't a Twitter thing. It was a world thing. But like, it made Twitter explode, and I just needed to turn off my computer and get away for a while. Everyone's just focused on sweating with Jason now. Everyone's
Look, man, if you'll pay me for it, I'll give it to you. I don't care. Like I'll post like shit from my work. Like if that's your thing, OnlyFans it is. I'm not even joking.
In 2012 or something, there was an entire anime series that came out, and it was just either working out with an anime girl or sleeping. Like she would just sleep next to you.
I thought you were sleeping with an anime girl. It's like one of those is probably more popular.
One of those happened during VR times, but not in 2012. So like you could do like POV. I'm your sweaty Jason, and.
Ew. Here's the thing. You don't get to sweat and loom. And I'm tall enough that I loom over lots of folks, and I feel like that's gross.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not okay with sweat. I'm sure some people would love a good sweat loom. I'm sure tons
a good
of people.
Sweat loom.
I'm sure that's some people's thing. Because even in my head, I'm like, I mean, I could see how that's hot if you weren't grossed out by sweat. I'm very grossed out by sweat, so that's not
I'm
my
grossed
thing.
out by sweat. I don't like if it's my own sweat. It's like, oh, this sucks. I can't wait to get a shower. But
Yeah.
like, I don't want anybody else sweating on me.
Oh God, I've had other people sweat on me. It's disgusting.
Ew. I don't even want to know the context for that.
You know.
I don't. Like. Here's the thing.
I think you know the context already.
You
like...
conjured an image, and I don't want it. Take it back. I'm gonna get the cordless drill, and I'm going to take it out. So.
Well, it's in here. I have it.
Shit.
So
Okay.
that. Anyway, Slutty with Jason. Mental health breaks. Yeah, just like, hey, I'm gonna step away for a while. Get off the internet. Obviously, Jason and I are not in a position where we can just like get rid of everything social media wise, because that's a huge part of the whole distractions thing. Is like, we have to care about how many people are following us on which websites, and which websites we need to be on more, and which websites like we need to push more content or try to sell the book or try to sell the podcast. You know, we have to do that.
Personally, I think a lot of me was overwhelmed. And it's one of those things you need to, like, I took yesterday off kind of until the evening. And then I just sat and thought about this. It's like, what's changed since like Arc 2 or something like that? Like, what do I feel like has changed? And some of it's for the better, some of it's for the worse. And a lot of my behavior, I feel like, is worse. Like, I don't feel like I get back to people as quickly as I used to. I don't, because I just feel overwhelmed. It's Twitter, Discord, Facebook, Kickstarter, Amazon. Like, there's a dozen different places. That's not even counting emails and multiple accounts and all that stuff. And you just feel like you're never doing it well enough. And I need to get that out of my head. Like, I need to just sit down and do it. Like, schedule times where it's like, okay, this is email time. Let's do it. This is Facebook time. And just get back to people and hurry it up. It got to the point where I was dreading sessions. Like, it's like, I'm going to screw this up. Specifically the Patreon ones. Because anything anybody's paying for, like, I'll sit down and it's like, I'm going to screw this up. You're going to hate it. Like, and it's almost never the case. Like, I feel like most times people walk away laughing and happy, and that's my job. And I feel like I need to get back to that, where, that confidence to go in and it's like, all right, let's go. Let's have some fun. And
I feel like this most recent session, the one that has not been posted yet, but has been teased, you guys know about it. It's coming out soon. That was the first time in a very long time I saw you excited for a session and not just nervous and like dreading. Like, that's the norm for sessions now. And also, like, when you leave sessions, you're usually like, I don't know how that's gonna go. Like, almost always I'll be like, how do you think it went? And you'll be like, I don't know, we'll find out when it gets posted. Which, that did not used to be the prevailing mentality when we were done with sessions. It was usually like, oh, I think people are really gonna like this part, this part, and this part. And after sessions, it was basically like, well, I washed my hands of it, let's see like how it goes over with listeners. Like, that became, it wasn't about whether we liked it, it was about whether listeners liked it, which did not used to be the case.
And I want to walk out of, like, I want to go in and walk out of things with the confidence to be like, no, I did everything I could, I rocked that. Like, everyone did such a good job, blah, blah. More importantly, I want to give people something to sink their teeth into. And that's one of the reasons I'm excited for people to hear the last episode of Arc 3, that whole Darmok thing. I think you're going to like it. I'm excited for these groups in Arc 4 because everyone's having such a good time with this blank slate and going to new cons and doing new things. And I can't wait. But Ashley just asked us, like, does Ashley still help with social media? She does sometimes. We've actually been paying someone
Corey
to help, and that's one of the reasons I'm worried about the Patreon going down. It's like, oh God, like, we can't.
How are we gonna pay for, like,
exactly?
Like, straight up, the book is not selling super as much as we were hoping. It is selling, but like, I think a lot of you guys already bought it during the Kickstarter.
Anybody who's listening to this cares about the show or something like
already
that. So
has the book probably,
and
if they could,
thank God, thank you so much.
Yeah, totally.
We've paid for advertising on Facebook and Twitter. It kind of went nowhere because we sat down and Corey is his name. Roro Productions is the company he runs, and he's been helping with our social media for the last month or so. You probably noticed an influx of posts and all that. And it's like, we're trying to reach out to new people because it's a really competitive market. And There's a
Math
new
Guy Dave puts out a very good point, and I've made this point many times.
yeah.
We aren't on the main feed to sell the book right now. So, like, people who don't follow us on social media, who just listen to the podcast, might not even know the book is out because we haven't had a new episode to be like, hey, book.
Yeah, and
Buy
that's
it.
true. Like it's there's tons of factors, right? But we can't sit and worry about that forever. We just did a local run. We visited a bunch of hobby shops and businesses last weekend, and we ended up selling a case. And we're waiting on word from a few other stores just to get it into store shelves. Um, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to keep an eye on, but it's not like it's been terrible. It's just
Yeah.
we don't know how to expose it to new people, and this is a rough time for people. Yes, it is, Ashley. Boy, if we can go back in time, it's like, hey man, 2020 is going to be a rough year to release a book or have a Patreon, or because obviously extracurricular stuff like this is the first thing to get cut from people's budgets. Trust me, I get it, because
Totally.
the last thing you're going out is like, hey man, I'm going to go buy a bunch of minis or STL files for my 3D printer, or that all that stuff kind of gets like cut back. You go, okay, food is pretty important. Let's put that at the top of the list.
Rent.
Yeah, rent.
Food.
And then we'll work our way down. And if we have money for minis, maybe. So yeah, that's a sob story, and we're not here to give you that. But here's what we are doing. There's some stuff that kind of went stale, and stuff like milestones for the Patreon. I really want to get back on that, and the ones we have up there aren't. They just aren't current. We want to do new stuff. Like I want to run a punk apocalyptic game, the new Robert Schwab book one time. Like, and these are like 1 to 3 sessions. Like I don't want to start a new series because that defeats the purpose of everything we've been doing.
Right.
But I want to unlock cool stuff for the community.
I still want to. I told you I want to run a Legend of Five Rings so bad.
I've never played that. I'm in.
I want an excuse to buy all of it first, and also.
But yeah, no. If you guys have suggestions for stuff, email us, send us messages, tag us here. We'll talk about it now. But we are going to be working on new milestones and coming up with those on Patreon. If you don't know what milestones are, essentially on Patreon, when we get to a certain level, whether it be patrons or like a dollar amount total, we unlock stuff for the community, a special one-off, an extra piece of content, something like that patrons get. That's like, hey, thank you very much for supporting us. We really appreciate it. Here you go. That type of thing. And just sharing the Patreon helps, man. Like if you can't or don't want to, for whatever reason, support it financially, just share the link. It helps us immensely.
Or even episodes of the show, like that also super helpful.
Yes. Yeah. Just getting it to new people. That's what we've been trying to do.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been asking what we're doing for Patreon. What's going to happen with the special games? What's going to happen with everything? And what we did was take a hard look at everything that's happening. We're going to be working on a new roleplay system, which means a new book, which means there's a lot, right? We already started talks a couple of months ago. We're still recording meetings. We're doing all that. So there's kind of a good news, bad news here. Let's get the bad news out of the way. All special games right now, New Bloods, Stars Without Number, DRP, all of them, Wardens, they're all being put on ice. And they're being put on ice for one simple reason. They were so difficult to schedule, and it was 4 extra games.
Yes.
And in
That's
a month,
a lot.
yeah, so we decided we wanted to make a compromise. We have to put those on ice, which doesn't mean they're canceled forever. It means that for now, we have to cancel them because creating 4 additional groups with 4 groups that are going to be on the main feed and 2 more Patreon groups is suicide. That's insane.
Yeah.
We just can't, like, the people in the cast have family, they have kids, they have jobs, this is not their full-time gig. So making them sit down to 2 or 3 sessions, sometimes in a week, is not good for them. Now, that sucks, obviously. I want to see a conclusion to those games, and we may get to that eventually. What we did was come up with a compromise. One, we're adding a 4th group to the main feed. We're bringing 4 groups back, which means smaller groups of cast members, which means more role playing. We can focus on, you know, more intimate stories and stuff. And we'll get into that when we talk about the main feed in just a minute. But for Patreon, what that means is we're bringing back Strahd, but with a twist. What we're doing is something called Curse of Strahd Reincarnated. Now, here's the pitch, basically. We're starting out with 4 or 5 group members. They will be completely random, tip to tail. Everything about them is random, and we're rolling from our book. Stats are going to be random, everything. They're going to start. None of the other cast members on the show are allowed to listen to Strahd. No one. So when, not if, a character bites it, they will be reincarnated, cursed, to live life after life in Barovia until the mission is done. That cast member has to tag out and tag in another cast member for the show who has not played yet. They roll up a random character. Completely top to bottom random. The old cast member exiting for a time has to then relay information about their character and experiences to it's a game of telephone, which is going to get a little more distorted each time we do it. So it comes off as half remembered, like bits of memory, bits of experiences, which you will not have heard, but heard about. So as this new character coming in, it's like, yeah, I have memories of John. I wasn't John though. Like it's different. And that's going to be in the $15 tier, just like the other special games. But here's what else you're going to get in the special tier. You guys like flying the wall. We like doing flying the wall. But here's the thing. We're not always doing something with the show itself. We're not always working on spells. We're not always doing that. But what we are doing is we're working on an RPG. And we've already recorded a wealth of stuff. And Flying the Wall now is... The production values are bumped way up. Myself and Bree are wearing lavalier mics. We're wearing lapel mics. And we recorded a few of those already. We just had our first team meeting a couple weeks ago, and we're about to have another one. So you're going to get 2 Flying the Walls. In-depth, long Flying the Walls twice a month. On the 10th and on the 20th, starting this month. You're going to hear everything, top to bottom, of what it's like to create an RPG system with our team. You're going to ride along with us. You won't be part of the decision-making process. I need to make that clear. You're always going to be a couple of months behind us. But you will hear the process. You're going to hear what it's like. We're going to, like, okay, Wednesday, here's the stuff we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about what magic system we're going to be using, creating one from the ground up, how that's going to work. And more importantly, we're going to talk about races. Should they get natural bonuses, natural negatives to their thing? Should they? If not, what are we doing? How do we make these races feel different from one another? And we're going to hash it out. And some of these discussions are going to be really, not heated, but we're all going to feel passionately about this stuff. And you get to hear it every step of the way. And I really hope you get to enjoy this, I hope. Some people really love the nitty gritty. And
yeah. And this is the nittiest, grittiest, like...
Yeah.
Whew.
How are you okay, I've been talking my ass off. How are you feeling about all this?
I'm feeling like Jason knows I've been anxious all day because the world.
I try so hard to just ignore the world right now. Like,
well, here's the thing. Like, yesterday night is part of the world. Like, all the changes we're making are, like, part of the world as well. It's just, and then also the world. But I'm feeling really good. I'm really excited for the Strahd game. I'm really excited for the Fly on the Wall. I'm not super excited for the Wednesday meeting, but I'm excited to get past the Wednesday meeting.
It's a big one.
It's just nerves. Yeah, it's we did talk to Robert Schwab about designing a game system a little bit because we were on a panel for DragonCon this year.
Yeah, and then we talked for like an hour after the panel, just talking about stuff and his. That's one of the reasons I want to run Punk Apocalyptic one day, because I backed that Kickstarter a long time ago. I got a physical book, and I'm like, damn, this is really cool. It's a Mad Maxian Borderlands type of RPG, big over the top, cool. Like mutants in the wasteland type thing. It looks fun.
Sweet. I want to play the Hag or is that what her name was? From the Woad, right? From Mad Max, the albino chick.
Oh, I don't remember her name.
They didn't really say their names. It's only something
Like
you have to
title.
sit
Yeah,
through
yeah,
the
yeah.
credits. Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, shit, I don't know.
I think she was the Woad, which I also thought was cool because like the bitch is so cool. She doesn't even have a name. Like anyway, um,
Mr.
yeah,
Person, we have not had any new episodes in the main feed because we're wrapping up the arc. We're moving on and we're starting something new. And
yeah,
I guess we could talk about that if you want, like the feed
yeah.
itself.
Let's move on to what we're adding to the show.
So, one of the things we wanted to do, obviously, was four groups because it was suggested. Jameson kind of suggested smaller groups. Rob liked the idea, and we had a big kind of town hall meeting with the cast, just talking about like, what do you want to do? Like, so four groups, each one is starting on a different continent. We're trying to tell more personal group stories instead of these big globe-trotting, let's save the world type of things. I want to start kind of small and see what happens. The big save the world stuff is fun, but I kind of want to go back to that arc one, beginning of the show style of like people getting to know NPCs and sticking with them, and maybe they join a party, maybe they, maybe they get to know these NPCs. There's one group that's going to live in a city and be part of it, and we're going to talk about the groups really soon. We might release a little trailer for Arc 4 and let everybody know what's going to happen, but it's going to be totally different and kind of a blast from the past in another way.
Yeah, so in that vein, we are going to, I believe, get rid of extended rest because we will be having the 4 episodes a month. If there's 5 Mondays, we're taking that 5th Monday. Sorry, guys. We just can't. We can't do it. But for the most part, you should get 4 episodes a month. We might do something on that 5th Friday, like that 5th Monday, if we can come up with something that's pretty easy to do, but also interesting to help people catch up. Because I know that's something people liked about extended rest was like, oh man, I missed an episode, but instead of being behind, I'll just do extended rest.
Yeah. But I think people would rather us put out another episode instead of talking about episodes that have already happened for the most part. Like totally. if you're clocking in on Monday, you want a new episode of a thing. I get it. But with the 3 groups that we had, that's 6 players on each group, which means it was very tough to get some schedules to align, and to do it twice in a month could be damn near impossible. With the extra Patreon stuff we were already doing, it was a mess.
Yes. So yeah, bringing the Patreon stuff down a tiny bit, replacing that with this Strahd game, and now each group, just to head this off, we are not casting new people. We're just going to have smaller groups. So,
yes.
Sorry, guys. I know a lot of people are excited to join up on the show. We'll let you know when we're looking. Right now, it was mostly just like pluck a few people, put them over here. I think there's no... Like last time, there were a few like groups that kind of stayed the same people and just got a little mixed up. This time, I think we fully mixed it up.
Yeah, everything's mixed up.
Yeah.
And again, they're playing new characters. There's no returning characters from Arc 3. None. Everyone's doing... Now, that doesn't mean we're leaving those characters behind forever. I'd like to do stuff to catch up with those characters, but this is a fresh start. If you've never listened to the show before, or haven't listened in a long time, this is the best time to do it, because there's going to be 3 continents where you're learning alongside the cast. They don't know what's there. You don't know what's there. It's going to be fun. Mm-hmm. That pretty much catches us up on what we're doing with the main show. Obviously, a bigger focus on roleplay. We're trying to keep you guys happy, give you new stuff to listen to, and just kind of get you invested in a new crop of stuff. So that's the main feed for the show. The last thing we wanted to talk about was kind of extracurricular stuff we wanted to do. And one of the things is we're bringing back GMT. It's something we haven't done since 2018. Like that's when we were on a regular schedule. Mm-hmm. And well, stuff's changed since 2018. And we miss talking to you guys. We miss reading your emails. We miss doing it. And now we're going to do it live. So we're gonna pick a day. We're gonna sit and work this out,
Hmm.
and every time we do it, it'll be live on Twitch, and maybe I'll simultaneously stream it to YouTube. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Right.
But like, it's gonna be live. We're gonna read your emails live. We're gonna talk to you guys live, and it's something we've missed a hell of a lot because obviously we have opinions about stuff that we don't feel comfortable talking about, like voicing it on the D&R stuff because we're not talking for the rest of the cast.
Yes.
And we've always made that pretty clear. But if it's just me and Bree talking, that's different. It's more personal. We could talk to you guys about stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's always live. And we're coming back permanently. It's not a one-off. It's
Yeah.
so yeah.
And we're gonna do our first one on Halloween. We decided
Yep.
because Jason agreed that it would be great to come back while wearing costumes.
I did not say that.
That is exactly what he said. So you heard it here first. Costume party on Halloween.
Well, I'm
for
wearing my
DNC.
costume right now.
No.
It's called I'm
No.
Trying to Be Better. That's my...
Better people wear costumes. So.
Well, we'll see. If we, you know what? Here's the thing. How about we do this? If we set a certain amount on Patreon and we hit it, they pick my costume.
Okay, but we have to be able to afford it. We can't.
Hopefully, we just take the money that we'd earn on Patreon and buy it. Yeah, no, they'll pick it. I'll wear it. That's it. There we go.
I'll be a
$6,000.
clown.
That's
I
it.
wanna be a clown.
That you're gonna be a clown?
I like clowns.
Why?
'Cause they're cool.
Are they?
Be a clown.
You're gonna be a rapist clown? Oh boy. I'm glad we do this in different rooms now. So there's a couple of other things we wanted to do. We wanted to stream more. We want to talk to you guys more. I feel like we haven't been as connected to you guys. Could you stop? We haven't been as connected to you guys as we used to be. One, because we didn't do GMT. Two, because it's just we've been so busy. Like, I don't chime in as much on Discord as I want to. We don't, I want to get back to that. I want to talk to you guys again. So
Yeah, I miss you guys.
we're also going to try and stream more video games here and there. Not like a religious thing, but like we're going to try to stream more and give you guys a little bit of a heads up so that you know when we're going to do it. It's not like, hey, I'm streaming in 30 minutes. Like, we're going to try and like actually put it on a calendar.
Yeah.
There's one more thing I wanted to start, and I've been wrestling with it for a really long time. It started as an idea for YouTube videos, and it kind of blossomed into this. I want to start doing a half-hour show called Mastering the Game, and it's a combination of GM stuff, topics, advice, you guys talking to me, I talk to you, and life stuff. Because, good God, I get enough questions to choke a horse every week about things to do in a game. Questions. I don't know. That's not an expression.
That is so not an expression.
It's not an expression, but whatever. And I want to do a little half-hour show to talk about that kind of stuff and kind of bring people in and see if it goes well. I'll do it for like a month or two. If it goes well, cool. If not, then lesson learned, and I'll focus on something else. But I think that's it as far as what we're trying to accomplish. Do you have anything to throw in? Do you guys have any questions?
I think that's it. Someone asked, are there any chance of playing games with fans or cast members? Cast members, definitely yes. If like when we can, that would be fun. It's harder with fans. Like, we've tried that before, and
I would be, if it's something kind of easy, like, okay, I'd love to get like a big Overwatch game going, like maybe listeners versus cast. Or like some amalgamation of the two. That'd be neat.
That's not fair to listeners, though. Sorry.
Yeah, I'd fuck you up. Like, it's not. Look,
yeah,
I love
Jason
you.
and I would fuck you up. Sorry.
Like, it's, I'm level 1700, 1800, somewhere in there.
I'm like 1500, 1300.
So.
You had a period. Look, I was really mad when Hammond first came out. So there was a period where you kind of leapt ahead of me by like 100 or so levels.
Laser Sniper said, is that a challenge? Absolutely a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
If I have confidence in one thing, it's a game where I have 648 loot boxes that are unopened because I just don't care anymore. I've unlocked them.
It's
Alexander
true,
wept.
I hate it so much. Every time I see his Overwatch screen, I want to just grab your mouse and open those loot boxes.
You'll be wasting a whole day.
Yeah.
I absolutely want to play Among Us too. I think that would be a fun stream.
Yeah.
I do.
Hey, I'm just gonna ask this here, even though I could easily Google it myself. Is cross-platforming a thing? Like, if I played on PC, but one of my friends was playing on phone, could I play with my friend, or are they completely separate?
I have no idea. I'd have to look it up.
Because I know that the one on PC costs $5, but I prefer to play on my PC. So
yeah,
everyone's saying yes. So cool.
Is it? Neato.
So I'm glad there's cross-platforming, because I don't want to have to make all of my friends pay money on something that they don't have to pay money on. But I want to play on PC.
That's fair. Oh, wow, a lot of yeses. So that's good. All right. So we'll set something up like that. I think we got our first big stream. Like we'll do some Among Us. I'll try and set something up with listeners for Overwatch if you guys are interested in that.
Hell yeah.
Let me know.
And as far as the gaming thing goes, Jason and I, outside of things like Overwatch and Among Us, will probably be doing separate games because we have to give up this thing where we're playing the same games. Because Jason and I don't like the same games.
It doesn't work
at all.
Bree likes storytelling stuff. I like more of a focus on doing stuff, like managing things. Like you know,
I like a game where you play a game in it.
Yeah, you don't like games that are games. Every time I've pitched a game to you, you're like, I think I'll watch the cutscenes. Maybe it's like that's the closest I can get you to like doing the thing. So
I really like doing the ranking videos. So I think I already said I want to do Tekken after I'm done with Animal Crossing. I think we already know who's going to be at top. But besides that,
I know he's a little heavy to be a top. Oh! Seriously though, Bob got fucked over in the new Tekken, and I'm sorry.
He did. Thank you. As long as we can acknowledge it.
Frostpunk is so good.
There's been so hard.
There's been expansions to that. Ugh.
Have there? Are they good? I don't know.
I everything I've heard so far is great. I just haven't had the time to sit and like play it. But
the Friday the 13th game was fun.
Yeah.
Technically, you can still play it, right?
Yeah, no, it's one of the great what could have beens. If not for that fucking lawsuit, like I feel so bad for those people. Like, ugh. Anyway, I think we're pretty much done discussing everything that we want to change. Basically, I want to be better. I want to work harder, and we just want to entertain you guys. And yeah, if there's anything we could be doing better, please let us know. If there's anything you want to see as a milestone for Patreon, or if you have a suggestion for something, hit us up with that too. We'd really appreciate it. With that being said, thank you guys so much. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you a little later this month with a bunch of brand new content.
Yay!
Bye.